Oh, hey guys. It's sunny. I don't know why I always get sidetracked when I start. Anyway, maybe I should start prepping a little bit better before I start. If this is your first time joining me, my name is Sunny Brigham. I am a board-certified clinical and integrative nutritionist. I have a Master's of Science in Clinical Nutrition. And I own my own practice here in the North Texas region of the United States of Americas. So tonight, typically, my husband loves that word. Typically, I do a blog as he stares at me. He's right there. As I do a Facebook Live on Tuesdays at 7 p.m. Central. I missed last Tuesday because I was out of the town and I was in the region of Seattle, Washington, because I was at a nutrition conference. And so last week I was supposed to talk about IBS. And this week I have goals. So I think the topic of goals is super duper important. I actually think it's a little more important than IBS. So, and the reason being because you can freaking Google IBS and you'll get a ton of information that will pop up. So I'm just going to very briefly talk about IBS, and then I'm going to talk about goals. Because like I said, goals are super duper duper important, especially in the realm of health and wellness. I was going to show you my socks, but they have a bad word on them, so I'm not going to show you my socks. But I'll just give you a flash of them. And my slippers, they're pretty cool. So it's pretty cold here. But my husband bought me my socks. It has a unicorn and then the F word. So you could probably Google them and figure out what socks I'm talking about. Okay, so IBS. Let's talk about IBS really quick. So IBS is irritable bowel syndrome. It is basically a condition that physicians diagnose people with when they have no idea what the hell's going on with you. And that is the truth. You can actually talk to physicians and they will usually tell you the same thing. And so usually if you go to a doctor and you complain about having either severe constipation or severe diarrhea, what they will do is they will, sorry, I forgot to mute that. What they will do is typically maybe they'll do an endoscopy, colonoscopy, make sure there's nothing structurally or functionally going on. And they'll do some tests. Maybe they'll test you for celiac disease, run a couple of other blood panels. If they can't find anything wrong with you, they will diagnose you with IBS. And IBS, honestly, is just kind of like I said, it's a catch-all. And it's pretty common, unfortunately. And so like I said, it's a disease of exclusion. We don't know what's going on with you, so we're going to tell you you have IBS. The problem is that IBS can actually mask a bigger problem. So if you have something called small intestinal bacterial overgrowth, or you can have food allergies or sensitivities, and that can be kicking off your constipation, diarrhea, bloating, all these fun things that come with IBS. And so when I tell people, when I have clients that come to me because they have IBS or because they have extreme diarrhea, extreme constipation, we're trying to figure these things out, I'm always on the lookout for some of these underlying causes because typically people just don't have IBS. It's usually something else. So one thing that I really like to do with people that have IBS is I like to first figure out, okay, what is their symptomology? Tell me what's going on. When did all this start? Was it just kind of out of nowhere? Was it like a small thing that kind of led into a big thing that had kind of like the downward hill effect where it just kind of, got out of control? So I kind of like to paint that timeline with them because that gives me a little bit of idea of, is this a recent thing? How long has this been going on? And what do we need to do to fix it? So typically the first thing that I like to do is if I suspect food sensitivities or food allergies, I will definitely approach the topic of doing some testing in that manner because if you're consuming a food that your body doesn't agree with, your condition's not really going to get better. We got to get those foods out of there so that we can give the immune system a little bit of break, get the digestive tract under control, and then we can see how that affects your IBS. If that doesn't help or they financially can't afford those types of testing or insurance won't cover it or those sorts of things, then I will like to do something called a low FODMAP diet. Totally not my favorite thing in the world to do because it is a really shitty diet. It's basically everything that people tell you not to eat. You go ahead and eat those. So things that tend to be a little more processed, white rice versus brown rice, cut out the beans, limit some of the starch of your vegetables. So it's taking out things that typically will ferment in the digestive tract, so it can calm down some of the gas, diarrhea, bloating, or constipation that people might be having. And so people tend to do generally pretty well on a low FODMAP diet, but it's not a diet I like people to be on forever. Usually 2 weeks or so, and then we start adding in other foods. If we start adding in other foods and things aren't getting better, or there's a quick down spiral, then I will suspect that there's probably something greater going on, and we'll kind of look down the route of SIBO to make sure that there isn't, something happening there, which is definitely not a good thing. So like I said, FODMAP is usually my number one go-to if somebody tells me that they have IBS, because if it really is just run-of-the-mill IBS, a low FODMAP will quickly get everything under control, and then they can start to eat better and not have any problems. But if we do that and nothing tends to get better, then there's something greater going on there. So couple of foods that if you have IBS, you should stay away from: anything that's fermented or any type of prebiotics. So Jerusalem artichokes, garlic, onion, anything that's very high fiber, like brown rice, beans in large amount. Those sorts of things tend to be a little contraindicated on the low FODMAP diet. Prebiotics, anything that is an FOS. So if you look at like the green superfood, it has FOS in it. That's going to cause some digestive issues with people that have IBS, because all of those ferment. Oh, hi, Kim. So that is just the real quick down and dirty on IBS. It's something that I talk about often, but like I said, it's pretty common. It shouldn't be. It tells me that there's something greater going on in the digestive tract that we really need to kind of get in there and figure out. But I've linked the blog somewhere around your screen. There is a blog. Find it. And that will give you the information on the IBS. So, like I said, quick down and dirty. Now let's talk about goals. Goals are fun things. I think they're fun things. Maybe they're tricky or finicky. We set goals all the time, right? You wake up and you're like, oh, I'm going to leave the house by 7 today. That's a goal. You just told yourself I'm leaving the house by 7. You're working towards doing that. You set yourself a goal. I am going to have a salad for lunch today. That's a goal. I'm going to make it to the gym today. That's a goal. I'm going to leave work by 4 today. That's a goal. I'm going to be in bed by 9. So all of these are goals. We set these goals all day long for ourselves. We set them for ourselves. We talk to other people about it. We do all these things all day long, but they're just very arbitrary goals. If you don't have a salad for lunch, I mean, you broke the goal that you set for yourself, but it's no big deal, right? No, I'll have one tomorrow. You didn't go to the gym today. No, I'll go tomorrow. It's a little too cold. I didn't feel like it. I didn't have time to eat. I'll just go tomorrow. So when we set these kind of arbitrary goals, we have arbitrary feelings around these goals. And so what we need to do is start setting goals in a manner that we have time invested in them. We are emotionally attached to these goals, and we have things that we can check off that we did as we near these goals a little bit more. So what I like is SMART goals. And you might have heard this before. Everybody uses SMART goals. I think the first time I ever heard about SMART goals was back in like 2005, 2006, and it was in the military. So something totally not related to health and wellness. But SMART goals are things that I do with my clients all the time. They don't necessarily know that's what I'm doing, but we are creating SMART goals all the time. And so when you have a SMART goal, a SMART, if you write it out, it's an acronym. It doesn't just mean like it's a really intelligent goal. It's actually an acronym, so it's all caps. And it stands for specific, measurable, actionable, or attainable, depends on what source you look at, realistic and timely or time-bound. Again, whatever source you look at. So your specific is specifically why you want to do this goal, right? And I say why. Some people will say what the goal is, but the what comes out in the rest of in the mark. So the specific, I say, is why you're trying to do this goal. So now you have an emotional attachment to this goal, right? The M is for the measurable. So how are you measuring this goal? And I'll give you a really good example here in a minute. So how are you measuring this goal? What's your measurement attached to it? So if you're going to go to the gym, are you just going to say, I'm going to go to the gym? I'll try to go to the gym today. Or are you setting goals like, I want to go to the gym 3 times this week? So that is a good measurement, right? Actionable or attainable. Those are the steps that you're going to take to get to the S and the M, right? So those are the exact steps that you're going to take to fulfill this goal. The realistic is it realistic, right? So I'm going to go to the gym 7 days a week when you haven't been in the last 3 months. Is that really realistic? Probably not. I want to go to the gym 2 times this week when I haven't been for the last 7 months. That's probably realistic. Or I want to eat broccoli every night of the week, even though I absolutely hate broccoli. I encourage you for I'm proud of you for trying new vegetables and really trying to get on the broccoli train because it is pretty healthy for you. But I don't think if you hate the food that it's realistic that you're going to be able to get it down every night of the week and be happy. So making sure that your goals are realistic, that's very important. And then setting a time limit. They need to be timely or time bound. You need to know when you're reaching this goal, because if you just have an arbitrary goal that I'm going to go to the gym today, you don't have any emotional attachment to that. You don't have anything to measure it by. You don't know why you're going to the gym. You didn't put any effort into making this goal. Why are you going to put any effort into attaining that goal? See what we're doing here? So we need to get you thinking in terms of SMART goals. So any goal that you set, whether it's health and wellness related, whether it's financial related, whether it's a personal goal for growth and happiness, it doesn't matter what it is, that goal should be a SMART goal. And so here's a good example. This is one that I see often. I have people that tell me this, but I see it all the time on the internet, right? And I'm sure that at some point in my life, I have uttered this goal. I want to lose weight. Okay, I think a lot of people want to lose weight, but how are you going to get there? Why? Why do you want to lose weight? How much weight do you want to lose? What are you going to do to lose the weight? Is the amount that you want to lose realistic? And in what time frame are you looking to lose this weight? Those are the things that you should be asking yourself when you're uttering these things to yourself. So again, it doesn't have to be a health and wellness goal. It can be any type of goal. Because I'm a nutritionist, we're going to focus on health and wellness goals. So if you want to increase your, muscle mass, so you want to decrease your body fat, right? You need to create a goal instead of in your mind thinking, okay, I want to drop 3% body fat. Well, if your 6% body fat is dropping 3% realistic, for some people, no, but for by and large, the majority of the population, yes, that is unrealistic. But if you are, 25% body fat or 30% body fat, is dropping 3% realistic? Yeah, absolutely it is. You could probably do that inside of a couple of months with just exercising alone, let alone doing any dietary changes. So when we set these goals, we need to make sure that we're setting them in a manner that we're emotionally attached to them. We know exactly what we're working for, how much we're gaining, what we're doing, what are our steps to get there, and how long we have to accomplish this goal. This is really important. So we're going to take this, I want to lose weight, and we're going to turn it into a SMART goal. So this is how we turn it into a SMART goal, right? I want to lose 10 pounds in 3 months by exercising 4 times a week, consuming 6 servings of vegetables a day, and reducing my sugar intake so I can feel good in my clothes. I'll say that again. I want to lose weight. That's the arbitrary goal. Here's your SMART goal. I want to lose 10 pounds in 3 months by exercising 4 times weekly, consuming 6 servings of vegetables every day, and reducing my sugar intake so that I can feel good in my clothes, right? Okay, so let's break this down. So the S is your specific. This is your why. Why are you doing this? You want to feel good in your clothes. M is your measurement, 10 pounds. A, that's your actions that you're doing to attain these goals. Working out 4 times a week, eating 6 servings of veg a day, and decreasing your sugar intake. R, is it realistic? Well, in this example, this person was 10 pounds lighter 3 years ago. So yeah, I would say that's probably pretty realistic. If, they're 120 pounds and want to drop 50 pounds, I don't think that's realistic. And then T is your time bound. 3 months is what we gave this person. So when you work it out and you have some motivation for this goal, you know what number you're shooting for. You know exactly the steps that you're going to take to get to that goal. You know why you're doing this goal, and you know what your time limit is. You become emotionally attached to that goal, and you have something to work for. So when you set these SMART goals, you set them out long term, right? So this one we set for 3 months. So this person has 3 months to get to this point. And what you do in between is you set small things that you're going to work on. So when a client comes to me and they say, I want to lose weight, through the course of the initial consult, I find out, okay, well, why aren't we losing weight? What's going on? Is there a metabolic function? Do we have food sensitivities? How's the gut? What's happening? Is you got insulin dysregulation? So I'm kind of putting all these puzzle pieces together, right? But for them, all they see is I want to lose weight. And so that's what I'm trying to figure out is, okay, why aren't we losing weight? What's happening here? What's going on? And then we sit down and we figure out, okay, well, how long are we going to work together? If you give me 3 months to work together, I'm going to tell you whether I think that your goal is realistic or we should probably set an interim goal. And then every time a client walks out of my office, they have a task to work on that's feeding that 3-month or that 6-month or that 12-month goal. And so if you're not working with somebody that's guiding you through your goals, you need to have these action steps. You need to know what you're working on, when you're working on, and why you're working on it to get to your goals. So in this example, your action steps were to work out 4 times a week, eat 6 servings of veg a day, and decrease sugar intake. All of those things will not happen overnight, and that's important that you know that. You're not going to wake up tomorrow. If this is you and you want to lose 10 pounds in 3 months because you want to feel good in your clothes, just know you're not going to wake up tomorrow, immediately start working out 4 times a week, having 6 servings of vegetables a day, and increasing your sugar or decreasing your sugar intake. What you should do is you should pick one of those. Pick one to work on. You've got 3 months and 3 tasks, right? So pick one to hone for the first month. Okay, you want to work out 4 times a week, but you're only working out hit or miss, maybe once or twice a month, right? So slowly increase that. Give yourself the month to perfect the 4 times a week. Next month, after you've got that perfected, after that's a part of your schedule, the next month work on the vegetables. Slowly increase your vegetable intake until you're not even thinking about it and you're eating 6 servings of vegetables all day, every day. And then you work on the last one, okay? I really need to decrease my sugar intake. I'm still putting sugar in my coffee in the morning. I'm still having, a cupcake, or I'm still getting a Starbucks latte that's, fully loaded with sugar. I need to start reducing these things, and you start picking and choosing the pieces of the sugar that you want to decrease. And before you know it, 3 months is up and you're at your goal. So this is why doing SMART goals is really important. Because again, if you're not investing in the goal, if you're not taking the time to write out the goal, if you're not putting the quantifiers on it, why you want to do it, what's your time limit, how are you going to get there, what's your goal, what's the end game, what are you working towards? It's just going to be an arbitrary goal that you put out to the universe and you could give 2 shits if you meet it or not, right? So we talk about the gym thing. I want to go to the gym. I say that all the time. And I rarely go because, quite honestly, I'm just not invested in it, if I'm being honest. But if I sat down and wrote out my SMART goal, then I would be a little more invested. Like, for instance, last week, before I went to Seattle, I used to eat a lot of salads. And I like salads. I just find in the winter months, salads aren't very fulfilling. And I think a lot of people probably agree with me. You just want the hearty things. You don't want a cold salad. That's really like a spring or a summer food. But I need to eat more salads. I feel like I feel better when I eat more salads. So I set a goal for myself last week when I left that I wanted to do yoga 3 times and I wanted to eat 5 salads over the span of 7 days. And so I did it. I knew that, okay, I'm going to have salad. I planned it out when I was going to have salad. If I didn't have it at lunch, I was going to make sure that I had a salad at dinner. And because I made it specific, measurable, actionable, realistic, and timely, I made it a SMART goal. I stuck to it better versus if I had just said, yeah, I should probably eat more salad and eat more salad while I'm gone. I'm probably not going to choose a salad over some of the other foods if I didn't put the emotional work behind it. If I didn't put, I feel better when I eat more salads behind that. I feel I get more vegetables in my life when I eat more salad. When you put the emotion behind it, you start to feel a little bit better about your goal. You're tied to your goal a little bit more, and you are more likely to fulfill that goal when we have that emotional attachment to it. Let's see. Okay. So this is what I encourage you guys to do. So you can do this under the video. You can do this inside my Facebook group, the Sprouting Up Nutrition Knowledge for Your Health, or you can go to the blog and comment on the blog. Make yourself a SMART goal. Take something that you've been saying to yourself for a while. I don't care what it is. It can be health and wellness related. It doesn't have to be health and wellness related. Whatever it is, like if you love to read books, but you haven't read books in months or years because you're just bogged down with everything else, and you keep telling yourself, I need to read more books. I need to read more books. I need to find time to read. If you're saying that to yourself, sit down, make it a SMART goal, work towards it. So whatever your goal is, so pick a goal that you have. Make it a SMART goal. Go through the blogs, write down. Sometimes it helps to write on a piece of paper, the SMART on the side, and write down the pieces of the goal. And then at the bottom, put it together and share it with us. It's important that you share it with somebody. If you don't want to put it out here on the blog, you don't want to put it out on Facebook, share it with a spouse. Write it on a piece of paper. Put it on your desk. Share it with a coworker. Share it with somebody so that it's out there and somebody can check in with you and goes, oh, hey, you remember like a month or so ago we talked about, you said that you were trying to make more time to read. How's that going? I've been thinking about doing that myself because I really miss reading. I just want to see how that's going for you. Somebody inevitably will check in with you on your goal. If you put it out there for me, I will check back in with you. But I want to see you get into the habit of creating a SMART goal. So whatever it is, take something that you've been saying, turn it into a SMART goal, and put it out there for somebody to see. So that's it. Goals are awesome. Goals are fun. I know people hate goals, but they're really important. So that's all I have for tonight. If you're watching this after the fact, you can leave your questions below. I do monitor those. I'll be more than happy to answer those after the fact. And if you have a goal, make sure that you leave in the comments. I'll give you, if it's not quite SMART or where it should be, I'll definitely give you some feedback and we'll kind of tweak it and work it out to make it a SMART goal. Other than that, I'll see you guys next week. Oh, I got a slow clap. Oh man, I love a slow clap. I forget what we're talking about. Oh, next week we are surviving the holidays. We're going to have a blog all about how to eat around like Thanksgiving and Christmas and all those other fun holidays out there that come around this time of the year. So how to survive it without expanding the waistline. So that's what's next week. Until then, I will see you guys. Have a fabulous, fabulous, fabulous week. And if you are in North Texas, bundle up and stay warm. I'll see you guys. Bye.